So the next essential topic we are going to uncover is standards. All of our work is based on the standards. As a matter of fact, that is the starting point for our work, especially in this day and age of standards-based instruction and assessment. So it is critical that you are familiar with all the Colorado academic standards, CCSS, etc., and able to access those, which we practiced in class. Now, when you're doing this work, I happen to believe that limiting the number of the Colorado academic standards to 1 or 2 when you're talking about units, and especially 1 when you're talking about lessons, is critical. But make sure you do identify those standards and you clearly state what they are. And underneath, you may add a little explanation of how that applies to the work, how your work is directly integrated with that standard and guided by that standard. The other standards we're very, very concerned about are the CREED standards. So all of you have your book, Teaching Transformed. What CREED standards directly apply to your unit and directly apply to this lesson? It is critical that you identify them, and please listen to this. You explain clearly how the CREED standards that you have chosen, and notice I said plural, standards, are informing the work that you do in the particular lesson that you've created based on the unit. The other standards that you must identify and tell how they apply to your lesson is through the UDL, the Universal Design for Learning. And this is really zeroing in on the needs of the identified, the special needs of students, the students who are identified with special needs. And as you can read in these standards, it is beneficial to all students. The other standards that are critical and that you need to explain exactly how they apply to your work are the WIDA standards. Now, though you may or may not have participated in the workshop yet, but once we go through the 2 workshops by Dr. Cummins, this should all be very clear to you. And yes, you must address all 5 of the levels for the WIDA standards and explain how the work you are doing in this lesson reaches the needs of these students. Within those WIDA standards, here is where you talk about the literacy demands of the lesson, the oral demands, the written demands. It is critical that that is explained. Again, if you haven't been through the workshops yet, it's not your concern right now, but it's coming. So these standards inform our teaching, and they're critical. And honestly, if you are looking for a job in the state of Colorado, you must be able to discuss how the standards are the basis of your teaching.